Good day, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Giants of Africa, broadcasting to the world. You are watching P&B Sports Show, the only place where the grass is greener and it takes are hotter. I'm your host, the voice of the continent, Aroko Tom. Today we aren't just reporting the news, we are breaking it down from Mbappe's knee keeping Madrid fans awake at night to the shockwaves of Marcus Rashford's potential moves to new camp. Joining me to dissect the chaos is my brother and our world-class in-house analyst, the short man devil, Mr. Abel Sunday. And joining us from the ancient city of Benin, the chief himself, the legend, a man who sees the game like a grandmaster, Ero John. Oba Atokpe Ero. Gentlemen, welcome to P&B Sports Show. So let's get right into it. I think one thing that has struck everybody in Madrid is Mbappe's injury. First of all, don't you think that they need Mbappe for the Manchester City matchup coming up on the 10th? Because it seems like this is going to be one of their most difficult matchups this season, and they might not have one of their best players on the team. Abel, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a big blow for the Los Blancos because Mbappe, if you look at Mbappe even this season, you know that Mbappe has been carrying Madrid behind or on his shoulder, rather. You could see his goal contribution and also assist that he has given. Of course, you know that I think he has played over 33 or so, and he has 38 games. I think my calculations are correct. And so you could see that just this season, you could see that yes, this guy has really done a lot. And when you see if Mbappe is not on that spot, you see that they always struggle. Will I talk about yesterday's game against Getafe? They lost 1-0. Mbappe wasn't there. There's nobody to perform the magic, and there's nothing anybody to do. If you recall, in Mourinho's press interview, he said something. He said, if not for Mbappe, that's the last group game for the Champions League. He said, if not for Mbappe that carried them on the because he scored 2 goals in that time. If not for him that even put them alive, yeah, because that game would have been dead and buried already, and game ended 4-2. So you can see that the kind of player that Mbappe is very, very important player for Real Madrid. And hopefully, if he could not make the first leg, I think they will try to see how they will rush it for the second leg.
Okay, and over to you, Ero. I'm wondering, do you share the same opinion with Abel, or do you think that there is something that the Real Madrid side can do against a side like Manchester City, against a side that has players like Haaland, Nico Riley, and the rest? What do you think?
Good morning, from good morning,
You know, Benin people, they like to greet. Benin people like to greet. So we've greeted you before. You want to greet us again, but let's go ahead, continue.
Okay, the injury to Kylian Mbappé is a very big blow to Real Madrid and families. And considering the fact that it's a player that is in the top form of his life, the player that has been carrying the team for a while now, you show that getting this injury. But to answer your question directly, what do I think the Madrid can do? Real Madrid have other players that have been giving quite some expectation. The likes of Vinicius is not doing poorly. Vinicius is doing quite well for the team also. So they can manage. I mean, they've played Man City. This will be the 5th time they are making Manchester City consecutively in the Champions League. They played Manchester City without Kylian Mbappé before, and they will still be able to do it. It just happens to be sad that they lose their best player in this counter. We need to have an independent on the way they play and the way they carry out their execution. In youth, yes, obviously going to have a very huge effect. It's going to be clear that Kylian Mbappé is missing in this encounter. But I expect them that they try and live up to expectation. They are not a small club. They're not a club that use the entire team around one player. Vinicius is doing so well. The likes of Bellingham, even if they are consistent, they are not doing so badly. So I'm just hoping that the team will do better. I'm just hoping that they'll be able to come up. But they will surely need Mbappé happens to be.
Obviously, indeed.
And Mbappé is actually a very good Manchester City.
Indeed, indeed. It seems like it might not be as difficult as we think it would have been for a side like Manchester City, because we will not be having Mbappé playing that match. We might not be having him because he's a player that has had in 13 goals in just 8 matches. But moving on to you, we know that that is not the only Champions League match that we're going to have from the 10th and on the 11th of this month. We are also going to have other matches, and then when you look at it, looking at a matchup like Newcastle Barcelona, do you think that the Magpies, now have a genuine favorite in the Champions League, and do you think that there is something that they can do against the Barcelona side?
In football, you can never say never. Yes, in football, this is football, anything can happen. Ordinarily, the common man would think that this will be an easy ride for Barcelona, considering the fact that even Newcastle, they are not consistent even in the Premier League. They are not as brutal as they were last season. I won't lie. They are not as brutal as they need to be the Newcastle side of last season. I will beat myself and put my best on them. I'm not kidding you. But the Newcastle we are seeing this thing with the same consistent, where they do well, where they poorly. They are struggling to find their feet ordinarily. So, but then, one thing they have something up their sleeve against Barcelona. Yes, we can never say about these things. Imagine having to qualify even down to the round of 16. It's a huge run. It's so that you know why you are there, you know what you are doing. So, I expect them to. It will be a huge test for Newcastle. It will be a huge test for the team and the coach. It will be a huge one. They have something to show the world. They have something to show. And I'm going to urge Barcelona not to undermine them, not to underside them, not to think less of them. Play them like we're playing the final. Because this is the round of 16. This is not counter. Anything goes. To tell you. And then playing at St. James Park is always one end of an encounter for any team. You can actually think that played there before. But I think what will make Barcelona them out is the European experience. They are more experienced.
Okay, but I have a question for you. I have a question for you. We are going to be seeing a Newcastle side that seems to have been somewhat consistent. They've played the Carabao. They've beat them in the aggregate. They've played PSG. They've drawn with PSG. They've played PSV. They've won PSV. They've played Carabao. They've played different teams. They've scored a lot of goals. How do you think they're able to achieve feats like this coming from an English Premier League side that is not doing as well as some would expect, especially with their performance?
If you check the teams that you have just mentioned that they play, none of them can match the status of Barcelona. That's one thing to consider. None of these things you have mentioned can match the status of Barcelona. And have they done so well so far? Yes, I mentioned it when I was speaking. That for you to qualify to the round of 16, it shows that you are not just a great fellow. You know why you are there. Having played about 8 matches and you qualify down to the round of, you have done well for yourself. So, you have done well. This round of 16 games against Barcelona would be the best major test of their results in the Champions League. The likes of Carabao, the likes of PSV, I would see them as being playing people that they are the same level, they are the same category in the European Championship. So now they are going to play against an elite team when it comes to the Champions League, when it comes to football in the Premier League. Exactly. So it will be a big test for Newcastle.
Indeed.
Let's see what they are able, especially when they play at St. James Park. Let's see how much they are able to stand and match the Barcelona side.
Okay.
I cannot begin to give them their opposite now. They've done well so far, but let's see what they are able to bring up. Okay. I expect them to cause a very big upset, so I expect that from them.
Okay, indeed. But that was what I was trying to get from you. Noting that the teams that they've been playing are not teams that some people will say, oh, this is a team that can cause, this is a team that can put a lot of pressure on Newcastle. But it seems like they've been having good performances and giving us a lot of highlights and a lot of goals. Right now, we're going on a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be moving to the Premier League, talking about Chelsea and Cole Palmer and their performance so far in the EPL. Don't go anywhere because P&B Sports Show will be right back. Okay, so welcome back to P&B Sports Show. It seems like the intensity of the English Premier League, it has been claiming victims, and one of those victims obviously is Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer has been having injury issues. We saw him come back, but in his game against Arsenal, we saw another injury problem. Abel, do you think that the stress of the English Premier League and the UEFA Champions League has finally started claiming victims like the likes of Cole Palmer?
But again, I think the other thing I want to look at this story is it that they don't really look at this player, they use them just to the advantage of the goal? Because sometimes the way the frequent injury of Cole Palmer, it looks as if it's not well managed. Because sometimes when you overuse player like this, it tends to have injury frequently. So I think the club need to look at it again. I will look at it again from the other angle. Don't you think the constant use and the overused Cole Palmer, and that's why he has been going off and on the pitch. But this last one that happened against the Arsenal, we're thinking that probably might be something small, but after this scan, I think it's something that I've already drawn a whole lot of my side. I'm seeing them moving into the Champions League on round of 16. Potentially, Cole Palmer, we don't know if he's going to play or not for now. So I think it's a very good thing for Chelsea.
Okay.
Looking at them, sitting 6th in the table, they need this guy back on his feet.
Errol, we know that you are an astute fan. We know that you are the professor of Chelsea. We know that when you talk about Chelsea, you can mention as far back as the last 10 coaches that Chelsea has had. You are the abracadabra of Chelsea, not just of sports. So you are the one that can answer this question. Errol, we are seeing a Cole Palmer that might not be available for Chelsea. The
answer is no, an emphatic no. In fact, we know it's a capital letter. I don't think at the moment there is a substitute for Cole Palmer in Chelsea Football Club. And I'll tell you the reasons why I said so. This is over time, Cole Palmer has proven to be one of Chelsea's best players, if not the best player. And I think alongside him, you have the likes of Kylian, the likes of his games. And maybe Enzo Fernandez can be pushed in at a point. But for recent times now, even before Enzo Maresca was fired, Cole Palmer has been in and out of injuries. He's been very inconsistent. He has played the least number of games this season for Chelsea. And then it has really told on the team. I can tell you for a fact, it has really shown that, there is no playmaker in this team. There is more, even on the game that he has played this season, he has not been his best. Before he got the injury against Arsenal, before he picked up, I'll tell you somebody that we are yet to see Cole Palmer. This is not the Cole Palmer that we know. This is not the Cole. I can go on and on. In the conference right now, you always see him in the big games. He tends to against Bayern Munich, stuff like that. He tends to. He offers what Bruno Fernandes offers to Manchester United. You always need that one player who, when he gets there,
we know that you are a Chelsea fan and you can talk about Chelsea from today till tomorrow. But the question I'm going to ask you is, Abel mentioned something. He said that it seems like that Chelsea is not prioritizing the health of these players. Instead, they just want to use the players. With the rising spike in hamstring injuries, especially in the EPL, are these clubs prioritizing profits over player welfare, in your own opinion?
Yes, they are. They are prioritizing profits over player welfare. That's one. Secondly, I think that some coaches do not know how to manage players with injury spell. I really think it's the problem. I will cite an example for you. You saw how Enzo Maresca was able to manage the James for over 1 year. There is them that we know that cannot go forward.
But the thing is, that was the issue that Enzo Maresca was having with the Chelsea board as well, and with the medical team of Chelsea. They were saying that Enzo Maresca, even when they give advice, that Enzo Maresca should rest players. Instead, he still brings players into the pitch and uses them, and he does not listen to the board. Are you saying now that Enzo Maresca all of a sudden is now the knight and shining armor, or was the knight and shining armor of the Chelsea side after you people vehemently complained and chased him out of the club?
No, I never supported Enzo Maresca sack, but we are not discussing Enzo Maresca.
All of a sudden. But you brought in Enzo Maresca, you are saying we're not discussing Enzo Maresca. Continue.
I make reference to a particular player. Enzo Maresca managed resumes to the resumes that we are seeing today. You will agree with that. For over 1 year, resumes is going, this is the second year in motion, and resumes are not of an injury. Now, that is what was the beauty of the medical team. The medical team have done their job. They say, now, someone is that when they get back from this, everybody's going to spend this. They need a number of terms to rest. You see what Enzo Maresca was doing with the likes of the James, bringing in second half, some games that you start, it takes him off at half. Just like that, until you regain full fitness. Back to your question. But we see some of this job. They just want to use this player. You hear things like this player needs to be used so that your value in the market can increase. What are they telling you? You think you're using this player because he has a wide range of things to offer. It is because so that when you want to sell it during the transfer window, you can boast and negotiate with the father. He has finished high number of things. That's madness. And that's what we see today. It's a pathetic one.
Okay, I'm going to be moving over to you, Abel. I think he has said that there's no substitute for Cole Palmer. But what we are seeing now is we are seeing a Darwin Núñez that wants to come back to England. And it seems one of the teams that have been showing interest has been Chelsea and Man City. Does he have unfinished business in your own opinion, or should he stay at Al Hilal?
Most of this, he has made the money then, and he has gone to back to so he can come back to people. Because going to no disrespect to, but most players at his age going down to that place is just to get the money. So that's the reason why they are going there most, not really football, but coming back to you like you want to compete. But most at times when you see when this thing happens, for when you talk to their retirement age, that's where they go. But now we see even young people want to go to the Arabian side to go and make some cool oil money and come back. But coming back, I think it's going to be a very good addition to Manchester United. Manchester City, I beg your pardon. If eventually they're going to get time to pay back to sign him, I think it's going to be a very good signing for them. But one thing that that is confusing me right now is why the rush? Get your relax, take the money. Then you cannot rush it. That's when you come, you can come. And especially if they can sign the example of Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen was offered how much to go to Saudi Arabia, but he rejected it. Instead, he opted up for Galatasaray. So why did not relax and do whatever you want to do before you do it? But all the same, that on the right hand. But I think if Manchester City could get him, he's going to be very good addition.
Okay. Chelsea has been showing interest in Darwin Núñez. Ero, what do you think? This is your club. Do you think that Darwin Núñez is a player that Chelsea needs? Do you think that with the experience he has had in the desert, as some will call it, is what he needs to bring to Chelsea? Or do you think it might just be a waste of money?
It will be a total waste of money. The same thing is involved the money laundering.
Are you serious? So that's the short reply.
But do you know that guy is £400,000 in Africa? So that's a whole lot of money. I wonder why he's running down from that. If it's me, I would just stay there and retire. I don't know what I want.
Now why not be you, Didier? But let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next thing. And what we have on ground, one of the breaking news is that Manchester United, they finally agreed to a permanent deal with Barcelona on Rashford. And we are seeing that the agreement is Barcelona has reportedly agreed a trigger, the £30 million purchase option, including his initial loan deal. And the fee is expected to be paid in 3 annual installments, £10 million pounds each. And then Rashford has also reportedly agreed to a 3-year contract until June 2029 and has accepted a significant pay cut to help the club comply with La Liga's financial fair play. And it seems like Rashford is fully committed to stay at Catalonia. What do you think about this, Abel? Especially a player like Rashford, and since when Michael Carrick has come in as interim manager for Manchester United, he has said that in several cases and has made some speculations that he would want Rashford back. Is this a shock for you?
Yeah, I think it's a big shock and it's a big blow for Manchester United because for a player, the caliber of player like Rashford, he could fit in into this Michael Carrick team very, very well. And he will have so many options for him to be able to tweak his team anyhow he wants to tweak it. I'm talking about Michael Carrick now. But back to Rashford, we're going down, they broke the camel's back when they brought in Ruben Amorim, which wanted to discipline everybody at all costs. But I'm not going to blame Amorim because he's in charge, he's the boss. He wants you to, because you cannot have two captains in the ship. If you say do this,
indeed.
And again, Rashford is somebody that already has been, should I say, has been over pampered. I'm sorry to use that word.
Abel, we've complained about Rashford being over-pampered. This is a person that has had about how many appearances so far for Barcelona? He has had about 35 appearances, and he has been a backup to Robert Lewandowski. He has had about 10 goals, 13 assists. Don't you think that he would have been able to bring in 1 minute, don't you think that he would have been able to bring the same fire to Manchester United? Or do you agree with Abel in 1 minute that the camel's back was broken by Ruben Amorim?
The camel's back was actually broken by Ruben Amorim. The way Rashford left Manchester United with Barcelona was not the way he would have expected. Being an English player and being at the time, he was the most important player in the Manchester United squad. I agree with you. So I think that influence is difficult. Instead of coming back, he would rather take a take off. Where a kid is no longer in his name. So the young man is somewhere again, or not. He has I think even in Barcelona, he has limited opportunities playing than if like a time for Sevilla back. It's about time in Barcelona. He has several options to play as a backup in our industry. Can play from the wing. So the man will rather stay there, take a take off, and come back to retire secondary school, where he's not hustle.
Fantastic. I know. One thing about Chelsea fans, they never cease to amaze us. They never cease to amaze us at all. That's one thing about Chelsea fans. But it seems like we've come to the end of the sports show as we've dissected everything that needs to be dissected. It has been a masterclass of analysis today. My thanks to my Oga at the top, our own in-house sports analyst, and also known as the Shotman Devil, Abel Sunday, for the fire that he has brought to the P&B Sports Show this morning. And Errol John, the sports analyst all the way from the ancient city of Benin City, Edo State, who is full of wisdom. So follow us on all our social media platforms for more sports updates on YouTube at Politics&BusinessTV.English, on Facebook at Politics and Business TV English, on Instagram at PNBTV_English, and on X, formerly Twitter, at PNBTV_ENG. I'm Aroko Tom, the best to ever do it. Whether you're watching from Abuja, Lagos, London, or Los Angeles, remember, in sports, the clock never stops, and neither do we. We'll see you next time, same time tomorrow. Stay sharp.